3, 2,
Two,
year,
one.
1.
There we
Yeah.
go.
No, people, it's not the New Year. It's mid-September, late September. It's
September 20th, right?
September 20th.
near the end of September. It's very warm out, 82 degrees or something like that. So anyway, everybody's back here.
We're back to it. You know what we didn't talk about yesterday was Sean Combs, P. Diddy. We didn't talk about that.
I don't think he's relevant.
No, it kind of.
For
I
who?
think it's going to be relevant.
Other than the cover up that's been going on for 100 years, but years. But
it's going to be. It's going to come
they're
out.
They're going to try to make him relevant. He's not relevant. Who's he relevant to?
Well,
He's relevant to the legacy media. And who else cares? Do you really give a crap what happens to Sean Combs? I don't.
but I think
I don't care what happens to Sean Combs himself.
Okay, but what about the other people that are doing the same thing that they don't report on, like it's news every day? Just because Sean Combs does it, it's important and it's news.
The only reason why I think it's going to be important on that.
Important to who?
It's going to be important to a lot of people that actually.
I don't think so.
The people who are the celebrities or
no,
no,
I don't
think so.
No, it's just like black leaders. Tell me.
No, it's going to be black leaders.
No. Who are the black leaders and who made them black leaders?
Well, I don't know who the black.
The same people that tell you that there's black leaders are telling you that it's important what happens to a friggin' rapper. Nobody cares.
I think it's going to be a few people dropping out that it's going to be running through the hills. I think so. I don't know.
Okay, but why?
Because I think the thing is that Sean's going to name the names. I think he needs to.
And then again, what's the matter?
Nothing's going to happen.
Like everything else. Okay, we just had.
And he'll just disappear or die. So that's what's going to happen.
That'll be an Epstein thing all over again.
Yeah. We just had a kingpin killed in prison not too long ago that was going to name names.
Yeah.
So you think they're going to let him name names?
Well, yeah, but these ones. Okay, hold up. This isn't one that would name Hillary Clinton. So that would be.
How do you know?
You think Hillary was one of the?
Okay, maybe somebody who's important to Hillary Clinton's involved.
Billy.
I don't know. You don't know who's important to Hillary Clinton?
Not necessarily her husband, but
was Monica there?
Yeah, I just
because I heard it was the same thing that he was blackmailing people. He had the goods on people. Okay, now who has the goods on the people?
Probably the government now.
And who would be? Maybe they'll let it go so they can use that information.
I don't think he's going to serve any time. I think he's going to turn like a lot of people over.
Yeah, and we'll never know.
I don't know who's the main kingfisher.
We still don't know who visited that island.
Oh, Epstein's island?
No, yeah,
you don't. But wait, wasn't his secretary? Is she still, or his lover, or the one lady?
Oh, the job was Maxine something.
Yeah, is she still alive?
Jazine or something. Yeah, she's still alive. I mean,
then why isn't she?
Because let's face it, there's too many government the leadership of the parties are they're not going to let this come to light.
No,
they're not going to.
Like I said, they spoon feed you what they think is important, and what happens is all the dumb talking heads they talk about it in turn. I bet you they're all talking about Sean Combs.
Well, you don't think you ever see these two where they have excerpts from other all these news sources? They're legend. And I don't want to go into it again, but what we used to be called the mainstream media,
the legacy,
yeah, good way. But anyway, they're saying the same exact words when you go from one place to the other. The same words. What's the likelihood of that happening just randomly?
And it's the same thing if you look at it.
Well, we don't even. The three of us who are sitting right beside each other will say, we'll never say the same.
No. We might have
these guys all say we'll say the same dynamic somewhere sometimes.
Right. But what I'm saying is when you say something's important, it's because you listen to the radio on the way over here, and the radio gets their news from the AP.
No, it's not that. I've been watching this for a long time and studying it for a long time. How I got into this was because there's a guy that you probably have heard of, TD Jakes.
Yeah,
that's how I heard about this. This came in light to me in Christmas time last year.
Well, TJ Jakes is he's the pastor to all these
But I'm wondering, but I know that I used to follow him back when it was Manpower and Woman Hour regardless because they used to work at different stops and churches. Different churches. This used to be a big thing with Promise Keepers. He came in after Promise Keepers. And he did a lot of things with Manpower where men should be men and stuff like that. So he did do a lot of stuff with publicity. Then this year we're finding out that, hey, wait a second. He was doing a lot of partying and a lot of different things with Sean Combs. And that happened in December. And there's a guy that I was following this not on the mainstream. I wasn't following this on the news.
Well, what I'm saying, like Candace Owens is talking about it, and
Right.
all of her ilk, they're talking about it like it's so important.
Well, I think
Like
and then that community is really
I might be
to them.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the Epstein was for the
Okay,
Caucasian
but if you
group.
notice, they're talking about dumb stuff like that, but they're still not talking about Springfield, Illinois, or
Well, they're not gonna talk about
not
Ohio.
Ohio.
but
Excuse me.
that's that shiny coin that
Yeah.
you have to get off of this because everything has happened in Springfield, Ohio, is what's really real. But the news doesn't want you to see that.
The news doesn't want it, but guess who's going there? So it
Trump.
won't be news.
Yep, Trump's going to take the people there.
No, I just say that they are dangling something and jangling something so somebody can look the other way. That's what it is. But I mean, let's face it. I mean, these guys are so. I mean, TJ Jakes. No, you can talk about Promise Keeper. I'll go a little bit on that. I remember when that was going on. It was like 30 years ago, almost, right?
Yeah, almost 20 years ago.
20, well, it was over
25 years ago.
Yeah, 25. It was closer to 30. I remember I was at a church. They got big into this, and they were getting special Bibles and stuff with the Promise Keeper. I went, okay, you're trying to get these guys to be better fathers and husbands. Okay, I'm going to say this. What the hell are you guys doing over at your church anyway? This giving good stuff, feel good sermons all the time, make yourself feel good. I mean, that's all it was.
Money.
Yeah, that's all it was. It's a movement so they could. Oh man, crap, we've been neglecting this.
Well, I mean, they always.
Well, what they were trying to do. Okay, what they were doing with Promise Keepers, what the concept was behind Promise Keepers was break the barriers of the different denominations. That was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the main characteristic of it, so that men could be men, and you didn't have that. Hey, I'm Baptist, I'm Pentecostal, I'm this, I'm Catholic, I'm this. You know what I'm saying? We all can come together. Be the same thing and not be divided. That was the same division.
Would you remember the book they called Iron Man? I think it was by Robert Bly or something that came out. It was about Tim Allen did a lot of that on top. His Home Improvement show. Right. He used that as a basis for a lot of stuff, and it basically was trying to reclaim the hairy man, the hairy beast, and let men be men. And the men's movement was basically I saw that come out first, and I saw Promise Keepers develop.
Right.
And so basically, it was like it wasn't led by a Christian theologian or a pastor or anything else. It was led from what I'm seeing, from the way I'm juxtapositioning the historical events. It was brought out by a very secular book,
right.
And which I mean, I approved it. I liked the Iron Man. Iron Man. I really did. I mean, I think we've been effeminizing men and demonizing men, and I mean, and I'm not going to cry about it because as soon as you start a men's movement, you're saying, "I see you're exactly what you're doing. You're falling into the same."
Especially if it's a white man.
Oh yeah.
White Christian.
You're racist. You're a racist.
White
bigot.
Christian movement.
There's no way in hell can everybody be put together. No, somebody's going to be left out. I'm sorry. That's the way it's going to be. I mean, that's the way. And I don't know how you can reconcile so inclusive. You can include. I just don't see how that's a possibility. I don't.
I don't know.
But in a way, when the Promise Keepers was coming out, there were a lot of things coming together, and there was a lot of good with Promise Keepers because you actually had people coming together. And yes, you're right. There are a lot of stupidity things that came in Promise. So everything that does come good, there's always something stupid that comes out of it.
I thought the whole movement was rather stupid.
Unless it's Kamala Harris talking, and then it's
all stupid.
Well, see, I remember the feminists going after they want to keep Promise Keepers. They're saying they want to keep women barefoot, pregnant, and chained to their stove. And no, it's a lot different than that. But I mean, I also had issues. Growing up in church, I remember reading sections of the Bible. All man and a woman should have this relationship, and who they should provide for. And now, what were churches teaching for the rest of all this time? From the time I grew up, the church that I were around, they had it mentioned at least. I read it one of my daily readings and stuff. So what are these people? I mean, what were they teaching people in church?
Back then, what they were teaching was exactly what you were supposed to be teaching. What they're teaching today is not what they were teaching back then.
It's what's cool.
It's like
to get parishioners, to get the seats filled,
to keep your job.
Well, another thing is too, like R.C. Sproul said, that's the thing is, hate the sin, love the sinner. Well, that's not in the Bible because if you just look at it this way, who's sent to hell? The sinner, not the sin. So I mean, we just get these bromides, and people think that we got to go with this.
Well, that's where it goes back to where they want you to approve of everything that they're doing. Help me out here.
They always want everybody to be approved. It's like nobody wants to, everyone wants to come to the point about God is love, God is love, God is love, and he's never going to. I heard this the other day.
But they want acceptance,
right? God doesn't
over tolerance. That's what I was trying to think of.
Here's the thing one thing nobody ever understands. I see in churches that no one actually ever understands is God's word has never changed. God's viewpoint has never changed.
No, only the interpretations.
You can be progressive all day long, but God's will, God's work, God's way has never changed.
And you notice too, the left, even though it might be vehemently Marxist atheist, they still try to, their conception of mankind's obligation to other man is not found in other religions. Most religions develop their own tribes, including Judaism, Jews. But the thing is, it was extrapolatable. Whereas all this other stuff, like you don't hear Hindus treating the Muslims really well in India, now do you? Or vice versa. So, I mean, like I said, Hegel said that Christianity was meant to be rational because from the onset, it was meant to be universalizable, to be spread out to the world. And, it was, because what was the mandate? What was the Great Commission? Go fill the preach the gospel, right? Because it was a liberating thing.
And make disciples of
all nations, right?
But the problem is that's too simplistic for people. They got to throw their 2 cents into everything.
Well,
and reinterpret it in their own words.
My dad used to say this to me, and the older I get, the more I understand it. He used to say you could make anything in the Bible, you can make anything in the Bible make sense, right? Like, for instance, you can say Jesus went out and hung himself, and then you can take another verse, cut it up, and say, "Go ye therefore and do likewise." But when people really study verses of the Bible, you're supposed to study the passage, and that's always funny because I always watch these politicians, and I know I always hack against politicians, but it's funny because I watch these people and they'll sit there and say they'll quote one scripture, right? And it's like, all right, so what's the scripture ahead of it? What's the scripture behind it?
Or pieces
and
of it.
And what was going on? Yeah. And it's God is love. Okay. God is love. Well, tell me where that's at.
Well, the Bible. There's another thing too. People always say that to me, and they say, "Well, you believe in the Old Testament God, the God of wrath. I believe in the New Testament, the God of love." Well, it's like, and I'm saying it that way.
But it's a two-way street. You have to love Him first before.
Yeah, that's a really
you
good
have
selling point.
to love to be loved.
Yeah, and that's another thing is too, though. I mean, but if you read the New Testament, and this shows these people never read the New Testament. There's more condemnation and judgment coming through the New Testament than it is in the Old Testament.
Right.
So far more. So I mean, when somebody says that to me, I say, "Yeah, I'm okay." Have you actually read the entire book? The entire what we call the collection book called the Bible. Have you read that? I mean, no, I don't think they have, because they're the God. What did Jesus come for? Is to prevent the wrath of God being put upon people. But it was because the coming wrath was going to happen if they didn't. But it was, I mean, the Old Testament times, they had a period of wrath and then long periods where he just permitted them and then he punished them slightly, but he didn't destroy the world again like he did once. So no, I just think that the people who tell me that the God of love and of the New Testament's a different God of the Old Testament, it's not.
But I've found really interesting lately in the last 5 years, I have seen more people on YouTube, on TikTok and YouTube and everything. And every one of them are start talking about, oh, I had a prophecy last night. I just saw this. And then now there's a guy out there prophesying what stock that God showed him what stock to start going with.
Well, it's the same thing. You might as well say it's the guy with the keys that's going to saying, come out there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, dude, just stop. And the thing is that we as Christians, here's the thing. I can't judge your heart.
Right.
I can judge your actions.
Right.
But the problem is, I am not God, nor is anybody else. So when somebody sits there and says, you are because of this, this, and this, you're this, and this, you cannot do that. The only person that can do that is God.
Right.
And anyone who sits there and says, well, you're wrong about this in the scripture, dude, show me one point where it says one point. Because it says, judge not lest you be judged.
Right.
By the same standards you judge. And yet people don't want to read that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you judge, you're going to expect somebody to use the same standard on you. That's all that means.
But I mean, but they judge, but they don't want to be judged.
That's what, and I'll have people who are like bleeding hearts who tell me this. They said, you're so judgmental. And then they go on with a litany of why I'm so bad. And I look at them, I said, what you just did was judge me.
It's different when it's them.
Yeah, that's like, everybody judges. I mean, if we didn't judge, we might walk into traffic, pull into traffic.
One of the shows we talked about, you said that I went in the store and I was just talking to everybody around me.
Yeah.
I just talk to people for one reason. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care who you are. You could be the one axe burner down there holding an axe, blood all over you. I'm still going to talk to you. And the reason why is, guess what? 2 reasons. One, as long as I'm talking to you, I'm not going to get killed. The other side of it is this way, is here's the thing. If I want to show you where God is, I'm going to have to show you by my actions, by talking to you.
Right.
And you know what? If one of the things I'm going to do is judge you. Now, people are like, well, you're saying things about this person and Kamala and all this other stuff. No, I'm sorry. I cannot, you can't say stupid. Like, for instance, yesterday, Oprah last night was
it was
in
horrible.
Detroit, and I didn't see it. I was like, I just saw you going through it. But she couldn't even answer a question.
But the people that they introduced as celebrities aren't celebrities anymore. Julia Roberts, what relevancy does she have in the world today?
What is the last one she was in? The last one was, I remember, was the one where she played a hooker.
Oh, that was like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That wasn't her body.
That was one of the celebrities. And then the guy from Malcolm in the Middle, the dad. I forget
he was there?
He was one of the celebrities. No, they were all on camera.
Oh, do you know, when I heard her answers, and I'm thinking when you guys have brought it up, it struck me is, you know, the old beauty of the contestant questions and the silly answers.
No, yeah, that one. What did she say? She said something so stupid. Miss America or whatever it was that everybody was making fun of her.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know this, but I mean, I didn't listen to that one. But her just answers came to me like, man, she made the beauty contestants seem like intellectuals.
Right. She didn't answer anything. No. Everything was a deflection and about her.
Well, one of the things was, I'm sorry, but I did hear one thing. I don't know if it was Caitlin that told me this morning when she was driving me somewhere, or was it I don't know. But it was the question: did someone ask her about how are you going to fix how are you going to fix the high prices?
Yeah, I heard that.
And she said, "This is a question I get asked everywhere I go.
Yeah,
prices are high." She didn't say how she's going to fix them. This is a question you get everywhere. And I'm sitting there looking, and so I went and saw a picture of Oprah, and you can see Oprah's face. And I'm thinking, you cannot. All I can think of is
another person.
You can't fix stupid.
Why is Oprah so relevant?
Well, okay,
because she's a billionaire.
But to who? What has she done for her people?
Well, no, the people, the women.
Well, she built stuff up in Africa. I get that's what I've heard. She built stuff up in Africa.
No, it's not so much Africa. It's women. Women all across. It's women in their 40s and 50s who they're trying to go after right now love Oprah.
Yeah.
But Oprah says,
but she hasn't been on TV since the early 2000s.
By the way, I do have a comment. By the way, gut instinct. This has paid off. It has been nobody. So that he talked about the celebrities you were talking about. I think that was in response to that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's
Oprah. If Oprah says
again, but it's who the legacy media is telling you that Oprah's relevant, and you're supposed to go.
Well, but they pulled Oprah out. But here's the funny thing about it: they have to pull Oprah out. They got to pull Oprah out to do this. Where's Trump? Trump doesn't have to pull it.
Nobody, because he's got average people like me and you talking about him.
It's the thing is, and they don't. That's the celebrity. They refuse to actually meet up with.
But my argument is that Oprah Winfrey is not a celebrity.
Not anymore. Not as high.
It's only the blue hairs.
Yep.
Think she's a celebrity,
and that's where they're going after is the blue hairs. All they're going after is the same people,
old people
who are going to go vote for them anyways, or the ones that they're going to be scared of and everything like that. They're going for the people who used to watch Oprah every day. But if you want to go that route, Oprah introduced Donald Trump on her show.
She was going to be his VP
at one time, and she also introduced him as a really good guy and her friend.
Right
now, because all the other people are running, she can't do that.
No, because Trump said that at one time when they asked that Oprah Winfrey would be one of the people that he would want to be his VP.
Well, you said Steve, you said a few podcasts ago, mentioned Kevin Bacon. About he went out and nobody recognized.
That was
you was one of you guys. I know that. Yeah, it's just they refused to acknowledge. Well, geez, these are our friends.
But we know that Kevin Bacon's been in Galaxy. What is it, Galaxy? I'm saying he was in that Christmas one.
Oh yeah,
where they went and they captured Kevin Bacon.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm saying people know who he is.
But Kevin Bacon's usually in a movie once every few years. He's in a movie, so
he's relevant. But he doesn't go around beating his chest saying vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump.
Well, I think he has, but I don't know for sure.
No, but what I'm saying is he doesn't wear it on his sleeve.
Well, was a guy that Bernie Madoff? Kevin and his wife got to go make a lot of appearances because Bernie Madoff stole all their money.
Yeah.
So they got to stay relevant that way.
But the problem is that if you put Julia Roberts on last night in Detroit,
right?
How does she have any relevance in Detroit?
Not that I know if she ever even made an appearance there.
I don't know.
I don't know if
it's a wonder they didn't drag out Madonna, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Good God,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and she's got, I know, and she says disparaging things about Michigan, Madonna did, all the time. And then she gets in concert down there in Pontiac several years ago. My sister, this like, way back, she's like tearing up saying, I just grew up down the street, because she lived in where the palace was at. She grew up in Pontiac area, near Pontiac.
She also was up in Bay City.
Yeah, she was born in Bay City. She said that city smelled funny. That's what she said about Bay City.
I don't think it was her. I don't think it was the city.
Yeah, I don't think it's you now.
Yeah.
But I used to like Madonna, but I mean, it just when they started getting all political and stuff, I have to tune them out because I have my own opinion, and I mean, I don't care if they got their own opinion.
No,
but I'm not going to follow suit with you. You know?
One thing, we're not telling you who to vote for.
Right.
We're just telling you our opinion. Our opinion can put why in God's green earth. I was watching something. Caitlin was showing me a clip when we were up at the doctor's say. She was showing me a clip about Joy Behar talking to Usher on the show and The View. And Joy Behar was trying to pressure him into saying he's going to vote for Kamala Harris. And he said something really good. He goes like, you know what? I don't really follow politics that much. I missed the debate last night. And you know what? Everybody should have the ability to.
That's what people think of us.
What's that?
Go ahead and read it.
What did it say?
Stock market is record high, unemployment record low, interest rates are just dropped. This is propaganda.
That's something about talking about. We were talking about the businesses closing.
Yeah, it's like, well,
that was a response to.
Well, see,
so businesses aren't closing because the stock market's high.
Stock market is high.
Well, okay, but
interest rates are coming down.
Well, but here's the thing: is most people say when they see the stock market's
they just dropped the interest rate. Okay, hold up.
Yeah.
Can I respond to that?
Go,
yeah,
because they just dropped the interest rate the other day for the first time in 4 years. 50
because they
50
had
points,
to
50 party right, and it was not what it was even voted. It was the thing to do to help out different things.
Yeah,
don't give me this.
They're hoping that she'll get a bump before
She's
November.
hoping it just so
that and they're releasing more.
I know
money.
The question I have for this person: why are you explaining to me where the economists are saying that we're about ready to go in for a stock market crash next year?
Yeah, if it continues.
Another thing is,
so what happens when it goes?
Okay, so
explain
to me what happens.
Where does small businesses have anything to do with the stock
market? That's what I was going to say. That's
exactly
where I was going to go.
But if the stock market does fail, who's going to suffer? I'm not.
Well,
it's the businesses that are invested in the hedge funds that are going to lose the money. But no.
Yeah.
No.
I would believe so.
No, because government will bail if they're empowered. They'll bail them out.
Yeah, that's going to be just more than saying kicking it down the road, not addressing it. But yeah, that's going to be the reaction. But
they won't. But they might not be able to.
No, the guy from Shark Tank that wears the watches, bald headed. He said, "Let them fail." Because it's the hedge funds people that are going to take. They use that as a threat. Because, oh my God, the stock market is going to fail. It's not going to affect the common person.
I love it when someone says it's propaganda because
it is propaganda.
We're propagandizing. No, come on, dude. Give me a favor. Tell me you own a business. Tell me you own a small business. Tell me that.
Okay, but how many small businesses?
I lost 65%. I lost 65%.
How many small businesses are invested in the stock market? They're not
many. They can't.
But why? Why would they?
Well, somebody would want to.
The average person with the average amount of money is not going to make any money investing in the stock market. It's people that have money that make money from the stock market.
Well, see, that's what the thing about behind mutual funds, though. The justification for that is basically you could start off with a small amount, and then when you make gains, you're going to have more of a capital to draw from to actually do investments on other things. So you start small, grow bigger.
It's just like the propaganda.
You can do good,
but it's just like the propaganda in nightly news. They report what's happening in the stock market,
right?
Because they want you to think it's important to you when it's not. It's not as important as they try to make it.
If I remember right, the stock market started going up when Trump was in office.
Okay, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm saying the stock market, it's
by itself, it doesn't. I mean,
it's business. They should be going and asking business owners what they think and paying attention more than that than what the stock market thinks.
See, there's a point. You're both making some valid points. I mean, it's like the small business owner, definitely the small business people are not going to, unless they also have enough money to stuck aside, invested in the markets, they might be affected, adversely or positively. But it's like the average person on the street. No, I mean, but what happens if you got corporations now willing to got money to invest, are willing to open up plants or stores or whatever? Those people get employment from them. That's
if a big business has money to invest and they invest in themselves in different things, I understand how that supposedly helps out the board that's making the money off the stock market.
Well, they filter a lot of money in, and it does filter bring in a lot of jobs.
No, it's the it's the consortium like BlackRock in the different places that control the money. It's not you act like I'm telling you the stock market's not that as important as you think it is.
No, it's not important. In my eyes, I don't really care.
I don't care about the stock market. It could crash. I don't care.
I work with too many people that don't even have enough money to put in a stock market because they're working on trying to keep their employees alive. That's what's going on.
And
the real thing, the real to the table.
But they don't have any choice because government mandates a whole bunch of stuff and gives you a bunch of bennies for doing it.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, the government says here, and they're saying the guys who've got big corporations, they can take that bite really easily, man. They don't have the problem. Say you had 25 to 100 employees, which 100 employees I think is still considered a small business, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, you got 100, you're struggling, and now they got 4 more mandates on you. You're going to have to pay for this, like the one in Michigan law.
Right.
Yeah,
they force people to do it because if you have money sitting in the bank account collecting for or an account for your retirement fund for your people, they're going to beat you up on it every year.
Yeah,
government's going to take money out of there.
Someone says that to us, when someone writes that in, what I really want to ask them back is do me a favor, 5 years. Just do this for 5 years. Start a business, hire 100 people, sell, do everything. Start from your ground up and everything. Then tell me how much that little propaganda stuff and how much all that bull crap means to you.
Well, so another thing is to the stock market, the people who are the companies that enjoy the stock
market
booming. Well, no, I was going to say, but the more they enforce, I mean, they get the ones that get the benefit of it have the connections to the government, so they can help them. They can pay those politicians up to create the policy which is going to benefit.
Well, BlackRock actually was the one that brought in DEI. I hate to tell you, but BlackRock was where DEI came from. NCRT.
Because they want businesses to fail because they make more money when they fail.
Yeah, exactly. They want
especially if they know they're going to fail.
Right.
They want to control the businesses.
Because what do they do? Like I'll give you Art Van for example, a big corporation. They're local. Remember Art Van?
Yep.
They bought them out. You know the first thing they did? They sold all the properties to this part of their arm over here, and then they started charging Art Van money for rent or lease, and that wasn't in their business model.
No.
And then they raised the money, so Art Van failed, but they had the property. And they're doing the same thing to Red Lobster right now.
And that's also, I think it was, excuse me, I was wrong, but didn't Mitt Romney do that?
Mitt Romney was a robber baron.
With Toys R Us. Yeah, I think that's
Toys R Us, and I think he was even involved in Kmart and Sears.
So, I mean,
they ruined Sears like that. They should be made to pay to do, I mean, they've ruined great companies.
Did you ever see the original movie Wall Street?
But what I'm saying is
Is that the one with
Michael Douglas?
Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly what they're doing.
That's the stock market and hedge funds people that are doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like your Jim Cramer, Mad Money guy. Yeah.
They're betting
in DC, they sit they sit across the world, in New York, whatever, and then they sit there and they control people all across the country, screw people up, everything like that. And it does downplay. The only thing it does is it downplays down to small businesses this way. When the stock market crashes, everybody runs for the hills, everything like that.
Nobody's going to run to the. Well, who's going to run to the hills for what?
Because people get scared when they say
no. Because we've had how many bubbles in the last 20 years?
We've had multiple bubbles.
Yeah, and nobody ran to the bank because you can't run to the bank. Because guess what? The bank only has to keep 10% of what you have in your bank account. $10%. Well, yeah, I think it depends on the kind of account. But you can't make a run on the bank.
No, you can't. But here's the thing: is that all right? You scared people, not us. But people get scared from.
If I got a bridge card, I'm not scared.
No, that's true.
You talk like I said. The common person doesn't give a crap about the stock market.
No,
and then I don't.
But the common blue gray hair person who's got their 401k in there, and then they're getting their paycheck every month or something like that. They're watching the numbers go up, and they watch.
That's their problem, not mine.
They listen to it, they watch it, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so good." The common person sent home from UAW or something like that, they're gonna look at it and go, "Oh well, we're in here and it's going up there and we're great." The problem is everything that goes up.
But the other big scam is 401ks.
Oh god,
that's the scam of scams.
Yep.
When it used to be, you had your retirement was in an account, and only so much of it could be diversified or whatever you want to call it. We're putting these different things. And then some schemer came up with the 401k where, I can charge these dumb-dumbs money when they put in, and I can charge them money when it comes out.
And also
And then I get to manage all that money
also what
for all those years for free.
And I get all that money for managing.
When they blurred the edges between the commercial banks and the investment banks, I think that happened several years ago, and that caused let's face it, they took money and supposed to be in a safer position and risked it, and it didn't turn out well.
Well, the beginning was with the Clintons with the savings and loans.
That was I think that was when the Bush era.
But I'm saying that was the beginning and the end.
Yep, that was
for people, anybody who had a retirement.
Yep, that was exactly the beginning and the end. And then now, guess what? Everyone's tied to this 401k thing. Which is a scam.
Which
started out
because you get administrative costs and stuff, and basically you're getting just as much of a chunk as you're going to make out of it.
That is, I am not telling you that the 401. I'm not telling you that stock market to me or any small business owner you actually sit down and talk to. Any small business owner who owns a store or an operation.
But I'm saying it's propaganda for the average person to when government bails these people out, because you don't want the stock market to fail, do you? So I'm going to give these banks the money, or I'm going to give these auto corporation, GM and Ford and Chrysler. I think Ford was the only one that didn't take money. But I'm going to give Chrysler and I'm going to give GM money
because they're too big to fail.
They're too big to fail, and these banks are too big to fail.
That's why I was actually very unpopular when they were doing that. I said, let GM fail. I mean, bolster the pension fund. Don't let them take the money off the table for those people, and then
let some other car company buy them over.
And then restart all over.
Yeah, start all over again. I mean, that's all it's required.
I mean, you don't. Nobody's going to bail us out.
No, I mean,
if we don't have money to pay taxes, right?
No, I mean, you're when you go, you're screwed. The average person, the best thing if you want to avoid such a financial disaster is to put yourself out there where you are too big to fail, and they will bail you out. I mean, if you're a person trying to live by your income and you're living modestly, and you get something,
and it's going up like it is now. Now, when inflation,
you're screwed, man. You're screwed.
Well, I mean, come on, you're paying $3 and something cents for a bag of chips that not like 2.5 years ago was $2.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's only, and they're totally oblivious. These politicians have been away from the real life where they have to actually buy their own groceries. And besides, every time something comes up, they can just vote to self-pay.
But who else? But you guys forgot.
They don't buy potatoes chips because that's for the lowly man.
Yeah. Oh, remember Kamala Harris buying Doritos? But anyways, but politicians, they can bet on the stock market. As a matter of fact, they do. How many of them are millionaires that only came into office?
And I think that's okay.
You think that's okay?
No. Well, that's what pisses off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that they're making money off the stock market because it's important to them, and if it's important to them, it should be important to you.
Yes, that's exactly.
Nancy Pelosi's one that
Nancy
made.
Pelosi. She's a
multi-billionaire or millionaire or whatever.
Well, she's this is
where. All right, so this person.
But she can't control what her husband invested.
Oh crap!
That was
he feeds her. She feeds him what to buy,
And she runs cover for the companies,
right? And it's okay for a half-naked man to come to the door with a hammer.
The games those people play, man.
And they're both naked,
and we still don't know what was going on there.
They were playing hide the hammer.
They're a disgusting group of people. I wouldn't want nothing to do with. I wouldn't want to be in the same.
But people vote. But people vote.
But that's the thing is, I mean, they're disgusting people.
But he was going to say something about we're putting out propaganda.
No, the guy that said about the propaganda. The funny thing about that is that when you said about the propaganda of stock market and everything.
Stock market,
yes. All right, study the whole stock market. Study Nancy Pelosi. Study all the. Tell me, please explain to me. Ask this person to explain to us how, and if any politician has got $1 freaking dollar from any of these people, and then you tell me it's propaganda.
But you don't think that the people that have money have enough? That they don't have enough money to manipulate the stock market?
All these guys,
they do.
When you walk in the door, I think the first thing they do, like how when you go somewhere, you go to, and they the first day they go over everything about the company. I think you're the first day you're the Congress, they hook you up with all the common criminals and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is how you run all your things. When you leave here in 4 years, you'll be a multi-millionaire. Oh, by the way, just write a memoir about how you slept with 3 of your secretaries and
Well, I mean that, and then give you your representative from Israel to shadow you.
Yeah.
Right. No, they do. Remember when we found that out?
Oh yeah.
That every congressman, I think it's Thomas Massey said that, and he refused his.
Really? Yeah, it's like well, that's another thing is too. We just got to go. That's when I get and most of the Republicans first damn thing they come up to the podium, they swear allegiance to Israel. I thought this is the United States you're running for office for. Every one of them.
Yeah, explain to me what is an ally.
Yeah, the person who can assist you if you in a political situation with military aid. Tell me, when have they ever done that?
Well, no, you get an ally in a lot of different ways. But that's the biggest one. But have we
that's the only important one. That's the only important
one. Okay.
But have we ever got help from any other country?
We haven't. We never have. Who?
England.
Oh yeah, England. Well, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, people.
Besides England,
yeah.
Have we ever had help? From
Italy? I was in the army.
Oh,
I know they helped us.
That's okay.
Besides those two,
most of Europe helped us.
But other than that, we haven't had any help from Germany.
Because we don't allow them to.
Yeah, they're allowed to.
But I'm just saying, we don't really have. But we help these guys anytime. It's like, oh my God, Ukraine needs our help. Let's run over there. Israel needs our help. Let's run over there. Let's don't. Let's put our boots on the ground. We gotta go here. Let's go here. So here's my thought: if you're looking at somebody, and we're running people here, running people here, running people there. If I'm quote unquote evil.
Okay, but we don't allow. But we don't allow Germany to come in the halls of Congress and tell senators how to vote. No. We don't have Germany coming in and speaking to Congress.
How many people in Congress have dual citizenship with any other country?
Well, we couldn't find that out because I looked.
Yeah, but I don't see that. I know people who are maybe. Well, they made a big deal about John McCain being born in the Panama Zone area. He was born by parents.
I know. It was the same argument they tried to do with Kamala Harris. Stupid.
No, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm not saying I agree with that.
No, I wasn't saying it. I knew you didn't agree with it, but I'm just saying there's so many stupid agreements.
I still like McCain, but I didn't like McCain. I thought he was a.
I wouldn't have cried if they used it against him.
If they could have gotten away with it, I wouldn't mind it. But
no, but we need to stop. The thing we were talking about the toys, right? I think it needs to be a time where people say, okay, you know what? If you get elected, there's to be no lobbyists. There's to be no you got to give up.
And that's
no stocks.
And that's why all senators should be pulled back to their state and do everything by Zoom, except for ceremonies. Something for like maybe once a year. They once or twice a year they go.
Wherever they're at, to wherever
State of Union thing, they should.
If they meet up with somebody, can be considered largely a lobbyist. Have everything. If they go into a room, not allowed to talk outside that room. Everything they say and do is recorded video and audio, and that way they can say, well, we did. No, you didn't. We didn't make any backdoor deals with you on this. And no ex parte conversations. Nothing. None of that.
Yep.
None of that. Because they were selling us out.
But then they're going to go around to their sides that they're aides and all the other guys are going to have to do the backdoor. That's the negotiations they do all the time. But the thing is anyone comes around to it, your family, anything like that, because that's what happens. They don't get the money sometimes. The money goes to their family, their brothers, or somebody else down the road. There's a trash can down the road. You pick it up, you got all this other stuff. You think drug deals are here in Michigan and all across the country, in Georgia and Michigan, Chicago, and everything is going on? That's more happening in D.C. than anything else.
Oh, the payola, I remember.
Where do you think prison learned that from?
Yeah,
it is, and it's disgusting. Even talking about it, we've talked about this for like 3 weeks, but yeah, you know what the funny thing is? It's been talked about so many freaking times. Everyone says the same thing, but here's the funny thing: is nobody does anything. What we get is people sit there and say, "Oh, it's a propaganda. You're just saying something's propaganda."
Well, we're not really.
It's not. No, it's not. It's actually our viewpoint.
But my mind can be. My mind can be changed.
Tell me how you're going to change it.
But that's not an argument. Just calling us names. They expect me to change.
Yeah, that's
what I think.
Well, like Oscar Wilde.
And please understand, I'm not on the person that said because he has his. Everyone has their right to have that.
No, it's fine.
But the thing is that tell me how you're going to fix it. Because right now we have gone through how many years? 60 years, 80 years.
But it's like Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing every 4 years.
It's trot out the same dog and pony show.
But this is the first year that one of the candidates been shot at twice.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
But they've always called the Republicans names.
But
they always said that the Republicans are going to throw Granny off the cliff, or going to put you back in chains, or if you vote for them, you're not black.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, why did one black person.
But it's the same thing.
For Biden.
Why are African Americans or blacks the only race that needs leaders? Who's your leader?
Yeah, just like take me to
They
your
have
leader.
Jesse Jackson. They
Yeah, I
have
know.
Al Sharpton.
We don't have a leader.
No,
we don't. Well, that conversation.
But why
came
did
up
they
years
have
ago.
leaders?
That conversation came up years ago when I was at U of M, and this before it wasn't so heated. And my one white guy who was a friend of mine, he was a Republican. He said the black kept on saying about our leaders talk about the black community. And he goes, and this guy's name was Kevin. He goes, we don't have leaders. And he said, well, yeah, you do. You got the president and all these guys. No,
he's a white guy saying
yeah,
that.
no, the black guy saying this.
No, they're saying to the black guy that they had leaders.
They said you have leaders, and no, what he's saying, no, he was saying that he was arguing. The black guy was saying we have leaders, the white guys, and I said no, and I said I'm joining in. I said no, there are people saying this stuff, but we don't follow them, and we don't lead, we don't get led by them. You have put these people in front of you, and you're being led by them.
Right.
There's a difference. And I said, yeah, I mean, we'll say we vote along the same mindset, but this seems this need for, and that's the black community itself.
We don't.
No, I mean, it's like leadership, our leadership, or no, we say our elected officials. Right. That's why I made the distinction. They're not our leaders.
No, they're not leaders. They're representatives.
They should never no person should ever look at somebody and think that's my leader because I elected them, or that's my leader because they talk for everybody.
No, that's your representative.
You're telling me Al Sharpton speaks for all of African Americans.
He thinks he does.
He thinks he does. Yeah, and I've only heard one or two that actually said they're in agreement with him. Other than that, they say this guy's nuts. But it's another thing is too. What I have seen this past few years is it's very encouraging. As I see blacks, and we were saying, we've been screwed by this party long enough. You can't count on our vote anymore. No matter you trot out these people and you throw them in their faces, they got to vote for them, and we have. It has got us nowhere.
No, it hasn't got.
No.
And the worst part about it is that James Cleburne from South Carolina was the one that actually put Biden on the map to win, because Biden wasn't doing good in the debates and everything and winning.
Georgia?
And then James came forward and said, hey, you got to go with him. He's the best guy. And James was the black leader that did this.
Well, remember,
everyone jumped on board with him.
Strom Thurmond didn't he go to his funeral and speak there?
He was his best friend. He was his closest friend. He was ahead of the.
And they forget about that. How did they forget about that? How could you, if you were black?
Do you see how much they drink?
And you found out that Strom Thurmond was Biden's best buddy and drinking buddy. Would you vote for him?
No.
Well, like
how can they overlook that?
Well, here's the other side. How can you overlook that in 1984? He actually stood up on the thing and said, "My kids are going to go to school. I don't want them to go with the monkeys in the jungle." How would you forget that statement on the floor?
Or the most recent one, you're not black
unless you vote
for me.
How did that interview not stop right there and say, okay, this is the racist person?
If a Republican said that, he'd been probably arrested on some charge or something like that.
Well, hey, guess what? Here's the other side. Here's what they just did. Talking about that, guess what they did? There's a lieutenant governor running, I want to say North Carolina. He's a good guy, but now they're saying that somehow he called himself, his running mate put something, not his running mate, but his opponent has put out somewhere, because they didn't do no fact check on this, but saying that this guy likes watching, remember when he was a kid, he used to like to look underneath bleachers, and he was addicted to porn, and he is Lieutenant Governor Robertson. He's really, but then they say he calls himself the Black Nazi. Okay, here's a question. How many people have you ever known that runs around, who's educated, would call themselves a Nazi?
No, that's just ridiculous.
But yet the news took it and ran with it. And here's the other side. This guy, all he does is he talks about three things. When he's doing, it's like my faith in my country, my faith in my God, and my faith in my family, what I want to be.
But on the way over here, I had the radio on because I was listening to music.
Right.
And a Kamala Harris ad came up, and she brought up 2025, that's why you should vote. And then she went into 2025 and brought up women's reproductive rights, and just went down the line about how bad it is, and took Trump's words out of context.
Of course.
And made it a radio ad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's for the blue hairs again.
Well,
anybody that watched the debates, because he said, I don't support it. I've never read it.
Right. He hasn't read it. In fact, he has
Agenda 47.
Yeah, he has his own agenda.
Or Agenda 45. I'm sorry.
And it's like 21 points, and it's a very easy point system. I mean, we can talk about it if you want to, or we don't have to. But one of them is, hey, you know what? Make America dominant, energy productive, end inflation, make America affordable again, seal the border and stop the migrants, carry out the largest deportation operation in American
Okay,
history.
you can stop right there, and I'd be happy.
Right. Well, here's what the funny thing is. What she says. Okay, here's the thing I don't understand about Kamala. Kamala sits there and wants to, in one hand, will say, he's going to deport everybody on the first day, and how's that going to happen? But on the other hand, she says, but on the other hand, she says, I was a prosecutor all my life, and I have prosecuted this, and I have deported, and I did all this other stuff. So here's a question. If you're a deporter, if you've done this, then why are you saying that what he's saying?
There's a process.
Yeah. All he's saying is, you know what? We know these guys came in. Let's take them out.
And he's already said he's going to start with the bad people. For anybody that's done something.
And he did that the first time. Remember?
Yeah,
I don't see. I just don't understand why somebody, if somebody in our own country think it's horrible that we want to, have a border, a definable, protected border. I don't understand why that's considered racist, bigoted, or a mean spirited. I just don't understand that.
Well, the Haitian guy, the head of the Haitian immigrants that came in, said that America needs to welcome every person. Let the door open, let everyone come in. My question is, why isn't there other countries?
Why didn't he do that?
Most countries don't.
No,
it's like nobody does.
It's not a country you just can't go. Oh, well, I'm going to become a Mexican. You can't even own property.
You can't
in
go to
Mexico unless you're a citizen.
The Philippines, if you weren't born in the Philippines, you couldn't own property. Until a few years ago, I think, but maybe that changed. Somebody tried to tell me it was changed, but
you can't. Well, even the Germans can't own property.
No, the Germans can't even own property in their own country.
It's too expensive.
Well, I think if the government owns, like most of it doesn't in Germany.
I don't.
Yeah, but it's like, I just think it's stupid that we gotta apologize for existence. It's not like we don't have people who are from the outside represented here by people who came here legally. It's not like we're xenophobic. And if you're Asians, we don't want you. If you're Indians, we don't want you. Then we got thousands of them here to do that, and they have great paying jobs, have great lives. So I don't see how we're racist. I don't see how that's a racist.
We're not racist. What we are,
it doesn't work
because
anymore. Anyways,
we listen to people who all they can say is this, and this. That's it.
But that word, it has no strength anymore.
No, it's
There's no bite to it. I don't care. I mean, I know what I am and what I'm not.
I know you're not racist, and I know you're not, and I know I'm not racist. Why? Because of what we do with a lot of different people in our life, who was our friends, who's our internal group,
right?
What we do and everything like that. You cannot judge somebody because of the skin of their color,
or if they're sarcastic.
Not to do that. yeah, sarcastic, or they say something sarcastic,
or they wear a shirt.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. Sarcasm is just one of my news. What
free services
I offer? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the other services.
No, I don't even want to know what they are. To tell you the truth.
No, don't turn that against me. But
no, but the thing is that people have made a living, and it's not black people that's done this. It's white people.
It's the white liberal.
Yeah,
they're making a living and telling white people that they're racist.
How much they should hate themselves.
Or they tell black people that white people are racist.
Yeah.
And they're laughing at them.
Yeah.
It's like, what? I mean, I saw this one old woman. I don't know who she is. I don't know, but she goes around, she teaches this to companies and everything. And she goes in there and she goes, I want you to know. I would walk up out of a class, honestly, and say, you know what? I'm out of here.
Go away.
Get the hell out of here. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because it's all she makes her money off of. If you did this for free and you pay people to do this, maybe I'd talk to you, but you're getting paid to do this. Shut up.
Yeah.
Just shut up.
Especially when you're going to tell me that I have white privilege.
Yeah, I have white privilege. What's white privilege? Oh, wait, you mean I can actually breathe oxygen and you can too? Yeah. I can work my ass off, so can you? I can have debt, so can you? I can always.
But I might have privileges that people don't have now just because of how old I am. Yeah, like I own a house.
Yeah, it's a cumulative though.
But you've worked your butt off to get to that.
But what I'm saying that I've done things that new generations may not even be able to do.
Besides, you didn't hear generational wealth or anything. I mean, you started.
No, but what I'm saying is just for living.
Right. But you put 20 years in the military at the time. Over 20 years.
But I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just saying that I've achieved the American dream.
Yeah. Well, what they did find out is that the new generation, whatever they're called, the biggest problem they're having in workforce with them
Is living at home?
is no obligation.
No.
They don't know.
I live with
They know
live.
nothing.
Yeah.
They live at home, and
Amazon
mom and dad.
Amazon just came out. So everybody in the offices that were in the offices before have to come back to the offices for 5 days.
And how many said?
And did you tell me people
Well,
start striking?
That's
the other thing they did. I don't know if it was Amazon, but another big corporation said you can either come back into work or continue making the same amount of money with no promotion to stay home. And I think it was like 60% of the people said I'll stay home.
But I mean,
that is stupid.
But you know what? Like,
no, it's not. No way.
No, no way. Because look at
they get to take care of their kids. Come on, if you got kids you're there and you can take care of them,
yeah, but
you save money. You don't have to pay gas to get to work. Yeah. Well, you don't have to make a lunch.
I just had a thought though. I mean, could you insist that they all come back to the office? There's a spike in clothing sales because they can't go in there wearing pajamas.
Yeah,
but yeah,
no, it's true. I mean, but one thing that Trump was trying to say to everybody that everyone's like, "Oh my God," it scares them. Is, hey guys, we're going to bring factories back to America and rebuild the country. It's going to take more than 4 years to do this, but we're going to turn it back around. If you look at World War II, remember we had to take all the shops we had to turn those things around into war machines.
Right. You know as well as I do that when you go to Dollar Tree on Belsey Road, there's a lady that's got to be near 80 working there.
Yeah.
So that they've got a workforce.
Yeah, I remember when was a friend
kids
of mine.
might not go, but older people may go work in factories.
I remember my mom's friend. She was working right up to her late 70s. Kroger's on Grand Blanc, and that's because she had a bad life, and her parent accordingly. And even if she had financially planned, a lot of stuff like your 401k or what can be wiped out. A couple of bad moves on some stockbrokers that be asked.
But what I'm saying is, there's a workforce out there. A lot of people come out of retirement. Mm-hmm. To work.
I got people that work with us that are older, and I'll tell you what, the girl that does it makes me look like when I was doing production, when I was doing porn, versus what she does, she's 10 times better.
Well, I had a friend that does. He was a retired factory worker from AC, and they were cutting a tree down in one of my houses. My sister's house was being built on. It was a huge tree. He and his wife came over and cutting up the wood to take home to burn, and the contractors were building on my sister's house. He just said, I'd love to hire those two for my crew, because he said these guys worked from like 8 o'clock in the morning until 12:30, and then took a break, came back a half hour later, and continued right up till 6. He said my crew is gone most of the day. He said these are much younger people. This guy's already in 60, late 60s, early 70s. Then I mean, so he and his wife just plodded along. Better work ethic.
But that's where I think our generation is one of the last generations of good work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, of course, I don't want to just do that because of self-aggrandizing, but I mean,
no, it's the last one that actually had responsibility when we got up.
But we were taught it in school.
Well, see, my parents taught me from early age.
We were taught that whatever happened in school.
Yeah, because the teachers were allowed to say that there was a mom and there was a dad.
Yeah,
and they were also in biology. We were actually allowed to say this is a female and this is a male.
Another thing is too. Right from our school system was set up to be in league with the manufacturing base, and creation of job workers.
And it was also the Christian community was involved.
Oh yeah, in churches and So I mean, it
was okay to sing Christmas songs.
It's getting.
It was okay to sing. We did Easter things.
We had a Hanukkah celebration at our school.
I think that was later on that Hanukkah started.
Well, nice. I had it when I was in elementary school. But I mean,
I think we had one dreidel song. I think we did that one.
We only had one Jewish kid in the
we
school.
learned about it. I think we
learned about it. I remember.
But then it wasn't.
I don't see.
I mean, you could sing away in a manger and not have to worry about the NAC's piece, and they're like with lawyers, and they're going,
why do you need a baby in the manger?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it was that color baby? Well, that's the one we get fined.
Yeah, it gets too complicated when you got too many people, so many people weighing in. I don't know how we can balance that.
No, just like the guy who smashed that satanic display.
Yeah.
It's just things are so stupid because
they don't.
That's all they can do is attack Christianity. That's That's what they all do.
This what we got is first world problems, like they always say. Other countries worry about feeding the masses. We're here now worried about this nonsense stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm serious. I don't
Because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Anytime they got to cover something up, they bring up stupid stuff like Sean Puffy Combs or whatever his name is.
Because it's like
to cover up what's really going on.
Because their candidate can't make it through on their own.
No.
So they have to bring up Sean Buffy Combs. You're looking over here because Lord knows all this stuff that happened in Springfield that they're like, oh, Mr. Trump, that's not right.
You can't talk about that. That's not real.
No, the city managers told me on the phone. Okay, so you knew that he was going to say this?
Obviously, because he, like that, had it.
You could hear the paper rustling as he's reading from the script. I totally disavow, and I also am appalled by these kind of allegations. You know,
but it's like when you're sitting here watching this stuff, and it's the whole thing going on is that we have to sit there and bring in George Clooney's coming in. I can guarantee you, Barack will be the next one.
Oh, he was on with Oprah last night. I think I already brought up.
Barack was on there.
No.
George Clooney?
Yeah, but I already said.
So George Clooney and Julie Roberts did the thing where they raised the money for Joe Biden, that $13 million or something.
It was nothing. That's minuscule.
Yeah, but they won that thing, and that's where Joe couldn't figure a way to get off the stage. That they had a hard time. Brock had to come out and get him and take him back off.
Come on, man.
But the whole thing is.
Oh, but they didn't have to help her off the stage. Did you see that part?
No.
It was all over the internet.
But they didn't have to help her.
She was shaking hands with some young kids afterwards, and they were asking her questions. And then she released her hands and just made a 180 and headed for the door.
Oh, so when they started asking her questions, she got out of there.
She just left.
See, and that's the whole thing. It's not that I'm okay.
And then their face was, that lady, or I'm not voting for her.
Cut this whatever way you want to cut this, however they wants to come across. We are not sexist. I would vote for any woman that could know what they're doing in there. But this woman does not answer one question.
No, well, she's a lawyer. That's what she
but do you want to hear that cackling for the next 4 years?
Oh, God, that's what
I can mute that, but I can mute that, but I can't mute the fact that the girl cannot answer one question.
She can, but she won't.
No, it's like
because
watching her is like watching the Fonnie Williams trial. When I was watching the Fonnie Williams, with Nathan Wade. That's her friend too, for sure.
No, where she got in the witness, they had her up there. She swore in, and she tried to bully everybody from the witness pulpit.
You can't ask that question. So here's the funny thing. Now, I had a question for you guys. I don't even know if this is a good question or not to ask today, but because I don't know how far we've gone today. But here's the thought.
We got enough for one more.
Yeah,
here's one more question. That judge in that Fonnie Williams or Fonnie Willis,
whatever her name is.
Yeah. Whatever funny thing that she's bringing against Trump.
Atlanta DA.
Yeah. That judge is up for election. What happens if he loses?
I don't know.
Yeah, I never thought of
do they kind of find it? Because they're going to have to find a new judge.
Maybe not. Maybe
Republican who could throw this whole case
I think they can have a special prosecutor. They could probably have a special judge.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. I mean, the guy who beat him would have to probably be the one that takes over the case.
It was just like what's his name? The prosecutor for New York. Because remember when he first came into office, with the Donald Trump thing was going on, he said, "I'm not even interested." And then a couple of months later, all of a sudden,
after he went to DC and met with Kamala.
Yeah.
This isn't set up or anything.
But I'm sure that there's got to be something written.
Because, it's that I'm a prosecutor, he's a felon. That doesn't sound like it's a rolled up mess.
But it's the prosecutor who brought the case. So if she's still there, I'm sure that either they'll make that let him stay or have another judge will just take it over.
What happens if it's a Republican judge who's like, oh,
it doesn't matter. She's the prosecutor. She's the one that's saying who's going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, but
there's already been a grand jury that approved it.
But he can be the judge that says, you know what, you don't have enough stuff.
Maybe she won't let him be the judge.
She can't do that.
I don't know if she can or not.
I don't know that part of it.
She cannot pick out what judge. She has to go with the same case. She has to go with the same.
Who says?
Their constitution and any constitution state.
If the Constitution was so important, she would have went up to she would have went to the House when they called her up. And she didn't.
Fanny is just too much into Nathan.
I don't.
Guess what? They did have one time. They did about 3 weeks ago. I think that's why they are still seeing each other.
Oh,
they've not broken up.
Her lead prosecutor,
Nathan Wade and her are still together.
I'm happy for them.
I'm happy. And I really think that we should be sending them.
Maybe we should send some flowers and maybe
we
help
really
them buy a
need to send
house.
them a gift pack.
Yeah, make sure that they should go and retire and have a newly.
Well, one of the scary things. One of the things that was scary that came up is that they were able to get all their information off their phones, not their personal information, but their whereabouts, and that's how they could prove that they were both in the same area at the same time because they had their phone numbers and they got it from the.
But he couldn't remember.
No, I'm just saying that's scary.
Yeah, that's a chilling thing. Even though it was these people and we don't like them, I don't like that.
I think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong for being able to do that. I do. I think that's wrong because it's not okay. It's inconsequential, really. I mean, and it's face it. There's the case against. Does that change the case against Trump?
I mean, I can understand being used in my defense to prove that at least my phone wasn't where they thought I was.
Right. And I have a very dim view of anybody who can any kind of way of trying to do an end run around the Constitution and our freedoms and our our need for privacy.
I'm going to be the clock keeper today. I think
should be.
I think it's